Hey everybody, it's me Stacey here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and it's time for Saturday with Stacey YouTube number 261, and with any luck the YouTube will load on time and we will not have pallets going back and forth literally shaking the camera like we did last week. Oh my goodness gracious. I had no idea what was wheeling across, and now I do. So what was in that big shipment that we received that physically, I mean, when it rolled by, it shook my camera. It shook the whole room. Well, as it happens, it wasn't even for us. What? Yes, it wasn't even for us. You see, we do business with Couture Creations. Make sure that stays on. We do business with Couture Creations out of Australia. And Couture Creations also sends products to a distributor here in the United States for stores that don't want to import directly, because it can be a headache, let me tell you. So they send it to a distributor, and then the stores can go and order from the distributor. Well, it turned out that the distributor's product and the SMS product got combined in the boxes. Well, not in the boxes, but the actual boxes got combined, and there was no identifying markers on what belonged to Scrapbooking Made Simple and what was supposed to go to this distributor. And the product was here in the Port of Los Angeles. So customs would only release the entire shipment because they don't know. We were supposed to get 84 boxes and the distributor was supposed to get like 266 boxes or something crazy, but without knowing which 84 are mine and what the rest is for them, they said they would only release it to one warehouse. So it got released to our warehouse, to me. I'm not even a warehouse. I'm in upstairs in an old church. There used to be a church up here, the tabernacle. So now we call this upstairs the warehouse area, the scrappernacle. And then we're a retail store downstairs. So we don't even have a warehouse. But they released it all to me, for us to get the joy and pleasure of sorting through and figuring out whose boxes belong to whom. So that's what got delivered last week. Now, the beautiful thing about this story is that there was product in some of those boxes that I did not have, but it was on the way to a distributor. Now, a distributor works with the manufacturer, so they don't necessarily own, the distributor doesn't actually own the product. The manufacturer sends it to the distributor, and as the distributor sells it to other retail stores, they bill the manufacturer and so on and so forth. So when I saw what was in some of these boxes, I said, oh my. I wonder if I could give Ozzy Andrew a call and say, could we pilfer some of this? We'd really like to have some of this. And being the good guy that he is, and the fact that possession is 9/10 of the law, and it's all, you should see downstairs, it's everywhere. There's boxes. We have to open up each and every single box and figure out whose product is who. Like we had nothing better to do with our time, but the downstairs girls are working on that in the retail store. Oh my gosh. So Ozzy Andrew said, why, yes. Yes, let me know what you're going to keep out of those boxes that was supposed to go to the distributor. I'll send them a new PO letting them know what's coming, and you may help yourself to whatever you want. So this YouTube is the next collection of Simply Defined, and it is a winter release, and I am in love with it. I am. I love the dies. I love the stamps. I love the hot foil. I love the die and stamp combos. I am. But when I saw what was in this box, these boxes downstairs, I said, oh, we're gonna change things up. And I'm gonna be doing, and not only showing you the new dies from Simply Defined, and the release is called Over the River and Through the Woods. Now, I did not realize that this is a Thanksgiving song when I named the collection. I just like the name Over the River and Through the Woods. Turns out, if you Google the words, it's for Thanksgiving. Well, Thanksgiving's kind of close to winter, and so I think it'll be fine. but because the only words I know are over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Past that, I know nothing more of the song. So anyway, I've got product in that we are, well, we have it earlier than anybody else. And Andrew, Aussie Andrew, was very kind about it all and said, yes, take what you need. I've got the Simply Defined, which I was going to be showing you anyway, but I'm going to be incorporating some things that we have shown before that were kind of new, and some things that are kind of old. And I just flipped this whole YouTube around. What do they call? Flip the script. That's what I did. I flipped the script, although there's no script with my YouTubes. I just talk and talk and talk. So I am super excited to bring to you some paper from Couture Creations. And we're gonna work with that along with product from Cosmic Shimmer, which is Creative Expressions, and it's product that I've shown you before. And we're gonna be using some Tombow markers, and we're gonna be using some glossy paper and some vellum. And I think that you're gonna have a great time, and I think you may wanna take notes. So if you do, pause me. There's my pause face. I'm not gonna blink. That way, no matter where you pause me, my eyes are not half closed. Well, I just blinked. Okay, we're done with being paused. So we're gonna get started for today because there is lots to show you, but I just had to tell you what was in those palettes. Only a very small portion of it was actually my product, but it's gonna take us, I told Aussie Andrew, it's gonna take us several days to open each and every box and figure out who belongs to what. And then we have to seal up all the boxes, and we have to, thank goodness they came on pallets because we saved the pallets, because then we have to put them on pallets again. And I've got to go buy a jumbo thing of shrink wrap so I can shrink wrap the whole thing. And then they have to come pick it up and take it to where it was originally supposed to go. It's just going to be a little bit lighter than expected since we took a few things for ourselves with Aussie Andrew's permission. Okay, so I've also got winter chicken dinner to talk about. And this was for the Inky Antics. The stamps and the scratchers. Oh, weren't those so cute? Oh my gosh. So I've got two winners. And if you haven't seen it, go back to 260. It is darling. These are from Inky Antics, and they're scratcher stamps. Stamp and scratchers. They're darling. And really super cute and easy to use. So do you want to know if you're a winner chicken dinner and going to receive some of those lovely items from Inky Antics? Well, if you are Nadine Bontabias, Bontatibus. Oh, I'm butchering it, aren't I, Nadine? I got the Nadine part. Bontatibus. Okay, here. Hello, Nadine. Can you see your name? If you can, you're a winner chicken dinner. Wahoo kachoooo for you. You're a winner chicken dinner. You're a winner chicken dinner. Oh, this one isn't any better for me. Jane, that was easy. Jane. Chrissy. Chris Guy? Okay, Jane. Is that you? Can you see your name? Because if that's you, you're also a winner chicken dinner. You're a winner chicken dinner. Wahoo, kachoooo. Doesn't matter that I can't pronounce them. It is what it is. You're just happy you're a winner. And how much do you want to make a bet? They're backing it up right now. Did she really say my name? Yes, I did. Yay for you. Don't forget to claim your prize. You have 30 days from the original air date of this class. Send your email to us. Go to scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Look for the link that says winner chicken dinner. Follow the directions. And Happy Mail will be on its way to you just as soon as possible. All right, so I'm going to put those aside. And like I said, I've got hot foil plates for you today. I don't know that we'll actually do anything with them, but I'll show you the samples. The SMS girls made beautiful samples. I have stamps, I have dies, I mean tons of beautiful Simply Defined product, but I'm also going to be incorporating some product that I showed you. We used them with duty stickers last time, and my Tombow markers, and vellum, and glossy paper. So I think we are going to scroll down. We are going to get started for today, and it is good to see you. And so far, been very quiet out there. All right, let's tilt on down and get started for today. Bye, everybody. Down we go. I know, so high tech. And then let's zoom on in. I don't know that I would know what to do if I had all the fancy schmancy things. All right. So this is the make and take we have going on downstairs. So every Saturday we do a free in-store make and take. And it's actually more like a class because it takes upwards of 45 minutes to do this. You die cut, you ink, we don't do it. We already know how to do it. We want you to learn how to do it. So we leave a lot of it up to you. And of course, this is one of the new Simply Defined dies from Over the River and Through the Woods. And half the class is going to be doing this. And then the other half of the class is going to be doing this one. Again, a brand new Simply Defined die. And they're going to be making the background. Ooh, do you see that gloss? Mm-hmm. Have any idea what I used to do this? Mm-hmm. I can hear you all now. Alcohol inks. No. Color burst. No. Brushos. Nope. Still not right. You're getting there. Close, but not yet. I think I'm going to tilt down just a little bit more. Close, but not quite yet. I'm going to get to it. We're going to show you how I did these. But first we're going to start super, super, super easy. And then we're going to get progressively more difficult. Now, the first thing I want to talk to you about is vellum. A lot of you have it, don't know what to do with it. This happens to be Simply Defined vellum, and so it's mine. It's really, really, really thick. And it's almost like a parchment vellum. So if you like pergamano, you're going to love this vellum because it can stand the pressure of pergamano. It's lovely. Gosh, 140 pounds? It's heavy. It's crazy heavy. Wait, it's right here. Oh, it's 150 GSM. So that's like 90-pound vellum. 150 GSM. Really heavy. But what to do with it? I mean, I've shown you how to use it for pergamano, where we put it in a die and take a stylus, and you can then make your own pergamano looking paper or finished. But there's got to be more to do with it. And I was playing with it because vellum doesn't like liquid. It doesn't like moisture very much. Because what happens when you get vellum wet? Do I have enough water? What happens when you get vellum wet? It wants to start to curl. And the more wet you get it, the more, look at that, just curl away, right? It will flatten out on its own, truly it will. But look at that. Vellum does not like moisture. Vellum also does not necessarily like anything that does not dry on top of. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to get a wet wipey. Look at that. I mean, it's really curled in. Vellum does not necessarily like dye-based inks or chalk-based inks. Why? Because vellum tends to be more non-porous than porous. And what I mean by that is that if I drop water on it, it will absorb in, but it takes a little time. Unlike a regular piece of paper where if I dropped water on it, it would sink right in. If I use my memento on a piece of paper, so a dye-based ink on a piece of paper, it's going to sink into that paper very quickly and dry very quickly. And that's why we love memento to stamp with, because you can stamp with it and then you can go back and you can color and it doesn't smear all over the place. Vellum, on the other hand, vellum not so much. You get ink on vellum and it's going to stay wet for a very long time. It smears, which is why a lot of people, when they use vellum, they will emboss on it. So they will stamp something, throw embossing powder down, and then heat, because that will give you the beautiful image, and it will dry. It will actually dry because you're heat embossing it. But what else is there to do with vellum besides embossing it either with an embossing tool and a stylus, a pergamano style, or heat embossing it with embossing powders? There's got to be more with vellum, and you want the opportunity to color it because it is so darn pretty. Yeah, see, nice and dry. That's what we like. That makes our heart happy. It is so darn pretty, vellum is. So I was playing with my dies, and I was playing with the vellum because I really wanted to have an opportunity, and I'm hoping that this is dry. I really wanted to have an opportunity to work with the vellum and show you another way to use it. So I grabbed my, there we go. I've got one of my Simply Defined new dies, and I'm going to die cut it super quick for you. So I've got my Sizzix Big Shot machine. I have got my multi-purpose platform, completely closed, no tabs open. I have got a precision base plate because the majority of my dies tend to be more intricate. I have got a piece of black paper. Let's see if it's gonna fit. Oh, by the hair of a chinny chin chin, but that's all we need. I'm gonna put it on there, give it a slight tweak so it's not going in totally straight, and I'm gonna send this through. And I just wanna die cut this really fast for you. So I'm going to roll it through. Those of you who have never seen a die cutting machine, this is a little bit of happiness in a crafter's world. It lets you take metal dies and cut them again and again and again and again, so you can make card after card or layout after layout or project after project, and they never go bad. You keep them forever and ever, and they truly are a wonderful investment. Okay. So the dies we're using today are mine. They are Simply Defined. They are a one and done, so when sold out, they are gone. And let's pop that out. And let's get out some of the little bits and pieces. So you can see all the negative space just falling right away. And let's see, where else do I have little bits and pieces left? Right there, right there, right there. A few there. Let's get those out. That precision base plate really helps everything just kind of fall on out. And that I don't need. That's an opening right there. Little guy right there and right there. Okay. So I've got the majority of them out, the little bits and pieces. So what does the die look like? Oh, let's finish the birdie. Let's see, what does the die look like? Let's grab a piece of white paper. There he is. So you've got my winter birdhouse with my little squirrel down at the bottom, my little holly and my little icicles coming off his birdhouse. And I'm going to take all of this and throw it away. Ta-da! Look, it's all nice and clean. So I'm going to be playing with this, and I'm going to be playing with some vellum. And again, vellum is a little difficult to use because you don't know what will actually stay on the vellum and what's just going to wipe away. And you don't want to spend a lot of effort working in vellum only to find out that when you go to tape everything down, it just smears. That's never a happy moment. So I was playing with my vellum because I love the weight of it and how heavy it is. It's very hard to find 90-pound vellum. It's almost impossible, which is why I made it, because I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm going to take just a little bit of my Stacey tape because I want to just put this down. I'm just going to take a little bit of Stacey tape And because I just want to hold it in a space. And fold that back into itself just so I can keep it on my vellum. I probably should have ran and got some of my tape runners, because I have a removable tape runner which lets you put things in place and then take it off. I just want to kind of hold this onto my vellum. I think we're good. Okay, so I'm just going to press it on down just so I can keep it in place. So now it's on my vellum. But how am I going to color this? How am I going to take it to the next level? What am I going to use to enhance it that is going to dry on the vellum and give a beautiful look? Well, who knew? Who knew? I'm going to use Tombow markers. Really? Who knew? Honestly. Tombow markers. And I'm going to use them without using water or very little water at all, because you have to remember, what did I say? Vellum does not like moisture. It likes things to be very dry on it. Anytime you add moisture, it's going to curl. Will it flatten back out? In time, depending on how crazy wet it gets, it may have a few little bumps in it, but you can get those flattened out. I want to do this to where I don't have to worry necessarily about whether it's going to curl onto itself. So I had to find a way where you could be very specific in your coloring. Very easy so that all of you can do it, even if you're new, and is something that you might already have in your stash. Tombow markers. So let's play. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lightest color, and I need a piece of paper. My lightest color, my very light blue. This is where having Tombow markers in the super light colors comes in handy, because I'm going to go in and right on the vellum, I'm going to color my lightest color right in on the vellum. And because I did a black silhouette, if I accidentally get it on the black, because this is a dye-based marker, it's just going to absorb right into that black and you're never going to see it. So I need 2 pieces of white paper. Oh, aha. So I just did the very lightest blue. Hard to see when you don't have anything behind it, but you put that white behind it and it's beautiful. It's got that very subtle look. But I want to add definition to this. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to take a second blue, and it really doesn't matter whether it's, maybe these aren't in the exact same hue or tone. It doesn't matter as long as you have one light and one darker, because then I can come in and I can just put a couple little dots of this darker blue where I want it. See how I put just a couple little dots of that darker blue right there. I don't know if you can see it, I can't tell. And then I'm going to come back with my light blue again. And I'm going to take that light blue and I'm going to pull that darker blue out. And you're like, but how can you do that? Well, because the vellum is the way it's made, it's not as porous as paper. It lets these markers sit on top of it for a little bit before it dries in. And that gives me the opportunity to add some shading and some shadow without using anything but 2 markers. I'm not even palette painting. I'm going marker to marker, and I can hear you now. But if I take the darker blue and I put it there, put it right in there. If I take the darker blue and I put it right in there, and then I take my lighter blue and I rub it on top and I move it, won't that ruin my pen? No. Why? Because Tombow markers allow you to tip-to-tip transfer or paint that way. They allow you to put your pins together and blend them together without having any problem at all. And before you know it, well, maybe I want just a little bit of dark right down in that little area. And because the Tombow markers are so fine, they've got that beautiful tip, or they've got, if you're really needing to get into a fine place, they've got their bullet tip. But I'm using the lighter color, almost like my blender. So it's kind of like a Copic-y way of doing things by starting with the lighter and then moving into darker. And now look what I did. I added definition down at the bottom and gave it that depth down there, where before it was just a very, very light blue. Very light. And you can go back, and what's really nice is that, let's say I'm doing this, his little birdhouse, and I'm going to start with my lightest blue, and I'm just going to color the whole thing in. Just put that layer of light blue all the way on his birdhouse. So all I did was go in there with a very light blue. Very light blue. Now I can go back in with my darker color and just add just a little bit, just a couple dabs. A little dab will do ya. And pull it out. And why am I doing this? I'm taking the darker color off my brush so that it has that blending capability. I'm taking it off my brush so it has that blendable capability from dark to light. I need to have that blending. So that's why you use so little and move it around. But now you may say, oh no, that second little one, it has too much blue. I didn't want it to be that blue. I wanted it to be a little softer. Okay, all you have to do is put your finger on it and pick it up. Literally, your finger on it or a piece of paper towel and pick that color up because it still hasn't dried. It's going to take it a minute or two to dry. And that means you have the time to then go back in and say, oh, I added too much of that blue. I just wanted a little bit of blue. And blend that on out. So last week we talked, see, just pick up a little bit. Last week we talked about Gamsol and colored pencils and how easy it was. Well, it's the same thing here with your Tombow markers, only we're doing it on vellum, which is something that maybe you haven't been able to work with. You may own a lot of it, but haven't been able to really utilize it because you weren't sure how to color on it. And again, my vellum is heavy. It takes the marker really, really, really well. Let's go down here. Really light vellum, you're going to have to be a little bit lighter with how much marker you put down, because again, vellum does not like moisture. See, and I'm just going to and put a little bit more down in the corner just to add just a little bit, and I mean it's a teeny tiny bit, just enough to make a little shadow down there. Teeny tiny bit. So now I've got my bird, assuming that I finished my house, and put my caps back on, and my caps back on, and I'm going to take and start with my very lightest pink. Let's see, how light is my pink? That's pretty light. Light pink. And I'm gonna color my whole bird with my pink. Whole bird with my pink. So there's my bird in pink. Again, my vellum's not warping. No problem there. It looks great against the white, even if all you wanted to do was color it in with your Tombow markers. They will dry. But I'm going to take a little bit of my red. And I'm going to put a little bit down here. And I just dotted my red. Just some dots, not very much. Then I'm going to take my pink marker again, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pull some of that red out. And then I can wipe off my pink marker, and then I can pull out again. And then I can wipe off my pink marker and get right up so it has that lovely piece of paper there. There we go. Now look at him. And I'm still on vellum. I know, right? You would think you would be able to do that on paper. And on paper, we usually do this by palette painting, by taking some of our Tombow markers and putting it on our craft mat and mixing up some color or some water with it and then using it. Oh, that's really light. Let's do the red so you can see it better. Taking some of our and palette painting with it. But if we palette paint with it to get that color on vellum, it's gonna wanna curl up, and I wanna keep it nice and flat, but I wanna keep that translucent look that you can only get with vellum. It's beautiful and it's easy. So I'm not gonna be palette painting this time with my markers. I'm gonna be taking my markers directly to my vellum. So let's get my red again. Got a little bit of red down here in its wing, and a little bit of red up. Grab that little piece of paper right out of there. Yep. There's one. It's like an eyelash. Holy smokes. There we go. Okay, so I've got my red there and a little red there. And then I'm gonna, just a smallest ever amount in those little wings. Can you even see it? And then I'm just gonna go ahead and with my lighter pink, pull it out. And if I need to get rid of some of that red, I just take my marker and wipe it on a piece of paper, scratch paper, copy paper, whatever you've got. Doesn't have to be anything special. And I am coloring on vellum. What do we think so far? Pretty easy, right? When you do it and you're done, it's beautiful because of the translucent that the vellum offers. Ooh. Oh, I put the wrong marker on the wrong lid. No, this way, that way. Oh, Stacey. Okay, well, remember what I said. I can take my lighter one because I got it really blue. And I'm gonna go in there and then I'm gonna pick it up with my finger, although you guys might wanna use a paper towel. But I'm just gonna dab it in there. And because it's still wet, I had accidentally put my really dark blue in that little side part of his house. And I just picked it right up. And now my light blue is down there like it's supposed to be. And now my dark blue, which I really barely need because there's still some there. pull it out. And make your pretty shadings and your shadows with just 2 pins, and pins you may already own. Now let's see about our little, I didn't bring a brown, but let's see what we can do with our little squirrel. So I've got a very light peach for his tail, a very light yellow. And again, if I go over the black, no big deal, because it just disappears because it's a dye-based ink. So if I accidentally color over my black die cut, no big deal. It just disappears like nobody ever knows. So you don't even have to color carefully. You just have to stay inside the lines, the exterior lines. But now let's see what this is. I've got this color. And I'm going to dab a few dots down there. Now those 2 colors don't necessarily go together, but it's okay. I just needed to start with a light color and build that. And then I can start pulling it out. And you can see me wiping it off because I want to make a blend. And Tombow markers are relatively inexpensive. They're about, we sell them, I think they retail for about $2 or $3.49. We sell ours for $2.63 on an everyday value. And then we have the sets. So it's not like they're cost prohibitive, which is nice. And they're usually readily available at most of your local retail stores. See, I just like to schmooze. I'm a schmoozer. Maybe I'll add a little bit more on just his tail, just on the end. And because the ink is sitting on top of this vellum long enough for me to move it, if I was doing this on paper, I would not have this opportunity. And I just keep taking it off until my pen goes back to its normal color. Okay. Now his tail is done. So cute. And it was easy. See, if I was doing it on paper, just regular paper, and this is my 100-pound paper, and I started with my lightest color, and then I came in with a few dots of my darker color. So that's what I've been doing. And then I took my lighter color and tried to blend it out. Not so much. Can you see my little dots down there? These will not blend away no matter how much I try. So if I was doing my blue, and I was doing my little birdhouse, Mr. SMS, do not laugh at my house. He is an architect, so we don't discuss my drawings. So if I was doing my little birdhouse like I did before, and then I went in with some darker blue up at the top and at the bottom, just like I did before. And then I went back with my lighter blue. It is a no-go. those little blue dots are never gonna go away. They just won't. It needs something that allows that ink to stay wet on it long enough for you to move it, but then dries on the vellum because it contains such little moisture. So if you've got vellum and you don't know what to do with it, oh my goodness, and if you've got Tombow markers, I shouldn't have tossed that one, I need to. You've got Tombow markers, well, I would get the vellum out and I would start die cutting and playing because it makes a beautiful, beautiful finished product. But the key is having two colors, even if they're not exactly in the same family. I suppose I could use my my baby blue that I've been using here and do my little icicles with it. But then grab something that's a little more green and not as blue. This is a lot more green. I think these two blues are closer than these two because this baby blue has no green in it at all, while this has. And I could take and just dot, dot, dot some of that green and then use that baby blue again to pull that green up. And there you go. So if you've got a pink and a red, okay. If you've got a yellow and an orange, okay. If you've got, I mean, as long as they're within the same color family, give it a whirl and try. Because again, the Tombow markers are meant, you can take it and do a tip-to-tip blend. So I could do this. And then write. And as the darker blue wears off, the lighter blue comes back. So you can see the darker blue in the beginning, blending with the lighter blue, and then coming all the way to the very light blue. These markers are meant to do that. And once they go clear, you're good to go. Wait a minute. Right cap with the right pen. So in just a matter of a few minutes, you can have this whole thing colored with just a few markers. And you can utilize that vellum that you have had but didn't know what to do with. Now you know what to do with it. And if you do want a thicker, heavier vellum, then I think the only one on the market right now that's readily available would be mine in the 90 pound. It's just really, really thick. And you can see how well it holds up to moisture. It takes those pins without any problem whatsoever. And I could go through and color my whole thing. It would be easy peasy. But we have to move on because we have other things to do. Although I did start this one. I did start this one. This is another one of my dies. And can you see how I did the background where it's the sun is setting? You can do that too. You can. Let's see, let's take my light blue. I won't do too much, but my light blue. And kind of get it all the way around. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but my light blue. And then a little bit of my darker blue right at the top. And then I'm going to grab my light blue and I'm going to pull that out and move that along as if I was doing the whole thing, because I want it darker at the top and then I want it to blend on down. But then I want to add a little bit of yellow. Oh, maybe I'll use this really light yellow. Use a little bit of yellow because I want it to have the sun is setting, and I'm going to take that right into my blue. So right now my yellow is going right into my blue, and then if that was my line of demarcation, I could take a little bit of my orange and put a little bit of orange there, and then come back with my light yellow and move that up in two so that I'm creating a beautiful finished piece. And now my sun, I feel like I need more blue in there because I didn't get in here. Shh, I'm just gonna lift my dye up just a little bit just so I can color in. Pick up a little bit. And I'm creating that background. Oh my gosh, was that so easy, right? But it looks so good, right? So that's what I was doing on this one, was creating that depth and that perception. And down here, I don't have it all the way taped down, but just going back and adding some darker color around the swirls of the ice skaters and really trying to create that depth to the dye when all you're dealing with is flat paper. The vellum is flat, the die cut is flat, but when you're done with it, you want something that doesn't look flat at all. So from that, oh, do I have this? I do. By George, look at that. Let's put this on there and that on there. So that's what we started with. And this is where we're going. What do you think? You saw me do it. You can do it. Do you have to play a little bit? Sure you do. Absolutely. You can't. I sat there and played a little bit. Sure you do. But it's not something that isn't totally achievable. I didn't use water. I didn't use alcohol. I didn't use alcohol-based markers. I didn't use a paintbrush. You haven't seen me use any of that. You've seen me use 2 markers. And it's a matter of just figuring out how much of the darker you need and how to pull it out and then wipe off the excess until you get to the shade that you want. They look completely different, don't they? And when it's all finished, it would be beautiful. So I wanted to use my dies showing you the vellum and the Tombow markers because, again, love my dies, and yes, this is really supposed to be about the release of my dies, but I needed to show you a way to use vellum because this is very simple, and now we're going to move into something a little bit more. Not difficult, just more. More doesn't mean hard, it just means more. And you're like, okay, get to it, girl. All right, I'm getting there, I'm getting there. Oh, my little go press some foil turned off, so I've got all my stuff here. All right, so we're going to move into more. Not hard, not difficult, but more. I really do love that one. I think I'm going to finish that one when we're all done. Okay, now if you remember, I did duty stickers, and they were a double embossed sticker, and they were beautiful butterflies, but they were very hard to color. Why? Because they were a vinyl sticker, and they were transparent, and so I wanted to use something that would dry on non-porous materials like an alcohol ink. And we have the color crystal tints. These are by Cosmic Shimmer, which is a creative expressions company. There's, I don't know, 12 or 13 colors of them. They are not alcohol based. They're almost like a liquid plastic inside this bottle, which allows you to move it on non-porous things, and then it dries and it's permanent. It's beautiful, beautiful product. And oh my gosh, playing with Christmas ornaments and things like that, because again, you can't use a memento ink on a Christmas ornament, on a glass Christmas ornament. You can't even use a Tombow marker on a glass Christmas ornament. It will just wipe off. It will never ever dry. You need to use the right product for what you're doing. And so sometimes the most convenient product isn't necessarily the right product. Now, alcohol inks have been around for many, many, many years, and Tim Holtz and Ranger have done an amazing job with beautiful alcohol inks. And it has a certain look and feel to it. But I was thinking to myself, well, what if we could achieve something? You may already have alcohol inks and wahoooo, kachoooo, but you may have purchased these when you saw me do them with the double stick stickers. And now you've got them, but now what else is there to do with them? That's what these YouTubes are supposed to be about. They're supposed to teach you the next thing to do with something, that it's more than what it looks like. And ideally, hopefully, maybe you have some of these. And if you don't, well, I don't know if your local retailer will have some of these, but you can check. And if not, they're not expensive. They're $4 a bottle, and literally it's a liquid plastic. So if you were doing like a wind chaser and you had a beautiful little frame and you were filling it in with color, you could fill it in with these colors, or wind catcher, that's it. You could fill it in a stained glass look. You could fill each little section in with these colors, and when they dry, it dries to a plastic, a transparent plastic that you can see through. It's just beautiful. So this is where, I know I go a long way to get to one place. I know. This is where that palette of stuff that came in, that wasn't for me, it was for a distributor, but just happened to be from Ozzy Andrew, who I'm a super good friend with, at least I'd like to think so, and called him and I said, oh my, I have not seen this before. Have you been holding out on me? What is this? And he said, well, it's foil paper, or it's paper to go for the Go Press and foil. The foil goes on it beautifully. Now, you've seen in the past that I've used Craft Perfect paper from Tonic Studios in the beautiful satins and in the beautiful mirrors. Well, they don't have, Craft Perfect does not have a white high gloss paper. They have black high gloss, which looks beautiful when you foil it, and they've got red satin, and they've got black satin, and they've got golds, and they've got silvers and pinks, but not this color, which is actually no color at all. What does that mean? That means you get to color it yourself. Yes. And I thought, okay, well, we could do alcohol inks, but lots of you have seen how to use alcohol inks. What if you bought these from us and now have no clue what else you can do with them? Will it work? So that's what I worked on. Will it work? And I played and I played and I played, and I tried using them with alcohol, with blending solution, with the Tim Holtz blending solution, did it all. And you know what I found? I found the thing that makes it work best is just plain old water. Plain old water. Now, can I do the same technique on basic paper? I don't know. Well, I do know. I'm not going to say I don't know, because I do know. I'm going to cut up some basic paper, and I'm going to have both handy. Now, if you've never seen what these can do, wahoo kachoooo, I think you're going to like it a lot. I need to pull out this is my vellum stuff, which can go right there. I need to pull out my glossy stuff. It's time for my glossy stuff. Okay, and regular white paper. So how am I going to do this? Well, first off, you just have to acknowledge that you need either a craft mat, or you need a glass mat, or you need something that's non-porous, something that this isn't going to just absorb into. You can't do it right on paper. because it's not going to let you swirl. It's going to want to absorb into that. Isn't that a beautiful color? It's going to want to absorb into that paper very, very, very quickly, and that's not what we're looking to do. We're looking to create dimension and swirls and not marbling, but making backgrounds that are just gorgeous. So grab your craft mat, grab a glass mat, grab some, even the packaging that my dies come in. That'll work just fine. By the way, that's a hot foil plate. Oh, it's so pretty. Even this will work fine. You just need something that's non-porous. Doesn't matter what it is, it just needs to be plastic. A block, if you have a stamp block that's nice and flat, that will work too. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna start by dripping in some color. I'm gonna do some purple. So look, it looks very much like alcohol ink because that's kind of what you do with alcohol ink. And let's drip in some pink. And it only takes a few drops, so one bottle of this goes a really long way. And I think I'm gonna drop in some teal. And now I'm gonna mist. This is where you might add your alcohol ink blender, but I'm gonna use water. And I'm just gonna mist it. Then I'm gonna take that lovely gloss paper and I'm gonna lay it down into it and I'm gonna swirl, 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 swirl. Zoop. And see what I get. Oh, too light. Too light. I want it darker than that. Too much water. So I want it darker than that. What am I gonna do? Let's clean it up. Well, let's clean up a little bit of it. And let's put down some more color. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Sound effects are required. Doot, 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 doot. And some blue. This time I'm not going to use as much water. I'm going to mist. And I've got some over here, some water over here. I'm going to mist a little bit and I'm going to go back down in and see what happens. Oh, better. Better. So that's where I'm at. Now you may be saying, I'm not so crazy about those lines in there. You see where it pulled up and I've got those lines in there? You might be saying, that's not working for me. Okay, I'm gonna wipe this off. Well, I should just do another one. I don't know if there's enough on there to do another one. But let's just mist a little bit and see what we get. Oh, that's even better with the lines. Maybe you say you don't like those lines. Let's wipe this up. Maybe you're saying, oh, don't touch those lines. I love those lines. But let's say you're not crazy about the lines in this one. All you have to do is add a little bit more water and let those lines soften themselves out. Because they will. They'll soften themselves out. And as it's starting to move, those lines will slowly just start to soften them out and dissipate. And that looks very much like an alcohol ink, doesn't it? Only I just used my crystal, my color crystal tints and water versus getting out the alcohol. And I can make beautiful backgrounds with it. Let's do one with a little bit more blue. They do have to dry, but the paper, that glossy paper, is strong enough to take the water. It is absolutely strong enough to take the water. And I could even spray more. I could get it really wet. And kind of roll. I mean, now it's really wet and it's really blending into each other. I'm not afraid of using the water with this paper. It's okay. It's going to take it. And you see it's not curling up all over the place on itself like normal paper might do with that much water. But it's also not watercolor paper because this plastic has to dry on top. Watercolor paper, it wants to take the beautiful watercolor inks and move it. This isn't so much an ink, it's a plastic. I can dab if I want to dab some of it off. And I can let it dry. Now I can take my heat tool. If you've got a heat gun, can you take a heat gun and dry it? Yes, of course you can. Absolutely, without any problem. And that color is just going to lock right into place, and it's going to leave behind that beautiful sheen of the glossy paper that's underneath it. Who would have thought that you could do this with that? I'm going to let these sit there. Now if you let them air dry, it's going to roll. See how it rolls air dry? So if it rolls, an easy way to get it to flatten out is take another, usually a little bit of a mini mister. And if you do the back side, it will help it roll flat. Just depends upon who you are and how much you care. I'm going to be taping this all the way down. So I don't care that it's rolled up because by the time I tape it all the way down, you're never going to notice that. But it will absolutely flatten itself out without any problem. Zoop. So I'm going to let this one dry. This is one I did a little bit earlier, and let me try another one. So what did I do? I went come on, zoop, zoop, zoop with some of my green, and then maybe I'll use some blue, and then maybe just a drop or two of the darker green. And then I'm going to mist. And let's see what I get. Grab my glossy paper from Couture Creations that we're not supposed to have. Ha 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 ha. And swirl, swirl, swirl. And pull. Now again, if I'm not crazy about how that center came out, I can either go back in and dip again. Let's dip another one while I've got time, while this is still a little bit wet. And I'm going to mist this one just so it gets, so those lines just disappeared into each other, and then you can move it and you can rotate it and you can make the color go where you want. So I've got that with this one, but I've got a few places that I didn't get any color. I can just put it right back in and see if I can pick up some of that color on some of these places that did not get any, and just fill my space in. Fill my space in. Oh, this is getting really pretty. Ooh, makes my heart happy. And then I can mist it and make those colors, those lines just kind of fade away. Or if you like the lines, it's up to you. But I was able to get 2 looks off of one dip. And if I want to add more, I can go in and add more. It's easy, it's fun, and it's another way to use what you may already have. I can also blot off. What if I didn't want that much? I can blot off. What if I wanted it to be a very subdued background? No problem. I blotted it off, and now I've just got the lovely tone. It almost looks like a watercolor paper on the back. Look at how pretty is that? But what to do with it? Well, we'll get there. So now maybe you are an A-type personality and the thought of randomly swirling gave you a moment of hyperventilating because you don't know where anything's going to happen. You need to know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. I understand you. You probably are more my people than you know. It took me a long time to be able to swirl and go, oh my gosh, that's so pretty, and be okay with it. So what do? Well, we take a baby wipe. Take a baby wipe, just an inexpensive baby wipe. And we grab our, we grab our color and drop a few on the baby wipe. Because you want to know where you're going. I get it. We can mist our paper just a little bit, just to give it a little water. And then we can start putting it down ourselves. Oh, don't pounce too hard, Stacey. And we can decide where we want more, where we want less. And we can go in there just like you do with alcohol inks. Absolutely. And let's grab our pink. And let's run our pink right on top. And let's go in and just bounce until you have what you want where you want it. You want more purple, you want more pinks around the edges. You get to decide because it's yours, because you're taking the control of just putting it on your baby wipe. And then you can make a beautiful background that makes your heart happy. And can you see I'm just going over, and I know that in alcohol inks they do that a lot. They'll just mix their colors right on top of each other and just keep going, because then you get this mottled all over feel. What if I threw some teal in there? Now if I want, I can spritz again just to keep my paper a little wet. And go in there. Ooh, that teal is beautiful. And bounce right over, right into my purples, right into my pinks. Ooh, what are we thinking? Now, I haven't used alcohol ink at all. Not even a little bit. And I've only used water and a baby wipe. So if you've been intimidated by alcohol inks, maybe this is a good way to start playing without actually playing with alcohol inks. Because you kind of get the same feel and the same vibe, but you haven't delved into that alcohol-based product yet. Okay, so I spounced. Made a really pretty background. What if I wanted to swirl? Okay. What if I wanted to soften it out, those spounces, and I wanted to swirl a little bit and just soften them a little bit? Okay. You've got options because this product stays wet long enough for you to play. Okay. And you're saying, yeah, but now what do I do with it? That's lovely, Stacey. I totally get it, but now what do I do with it? Well, I don't know. What do you think of that? Does that work for you? How's that? I think that looks pretty good. Made my own background paper. It's got that alcohol ink look and feel without actually doing alcohol ink. Put my silhouette die on it. Well, let's see which other ones I've got here. How do you feel about that? Of course we trim off the sides and the ends, yes, I know. But how pretty is that? It's just one black die cut. I spounced. I didn't swirl. I spounced so I could be kind of specific where I was putting my color and how much color I wanted of each. And if I wanted more of something, I could add more of something. But how do we feel about that? That looks pretty good too, I think. But then we have this one here. I don't know if it's quite dry yet. How do you feel about that? And then there's a little deer with this die. There's a little deer that goes with that die. What do we think about that? I mean, there's options. You've made a beautiful background paper. What do you want to do with it? Do I dare? Do I dare? Do I dare? Okay, I dare. What if I took yellow and I dropped it, and then I just kind of moved it around a little bit? Do I dare or did I ruin it? Well, it's only paper. It's just us. And if you don't try, you never know. You don't get anywhere without giving it a whirl. Okay, and then what if I just kind of soften the edges a little bit? Just soften the edges of my, I didn't make a very good circle. But I think you'll get where I'm going. And then I took and I put my tree behind it, and now I've got the moon. Right? Right? And if you already own these, well, wahoo kachoooo for you. You just need the glossy paper to play. And if you don't own them, they're completely affordable and you use so little of them. And I like that you don't have to have the alcohol blending solution, because really that's what you go through the most. You'll use more water with this than you will use of the actual product. Yet it gives you that finish and that look of alcohol ink. And if you've got alcohol ink already, well then by George, you've got the best of both worlds, because they just look so pretty. My moon doesn't look so good there, but you get the spiel. You get it. You understand where I'm going. Do I have some really weird ones? Oh yeah, I have some really, look at how bright that one is. That's like this one where it's just really, really bright, and it's all dry. And can you see the gloss that's left behind? It's because it's a plastic on top of photo paper. Okay, that looks really good. I bet this one's gonna look awesome. How pretty is that? Or here we have this one. Look at that. You can do this. And with the new Simply Defined dies, the Over the River and Through the Woods, which was actually meant for for Thanksgiving, you can make beautiful things. But then once they are dry, you can die cut them. Let's see. Let's take this one. And let's take this. And let's die cut super fast. So I'm going to put these out of my way so I don't spill them. Now, are these going to go on vellum really well? Not so much. Why? Well, they have an awful lot of moisture to them. They're really wet. So on vellum, it's not the best. That's why on vellum we used the Tombow markers, so that you had that beautiful you have that beautiful look with Tombow, because vellum does not like moisture. But let's die cut this and see what we get. Let's bring our die cut machine over. I'm using my my multi-purpose platform, my precision base plate, metal facing you. If you can read the directions on your precision base plate and you're about to send it through your machine, stop. You need to be able to see the metal, whether the metal is a dull black or a coated or shiny, the new chrome one. Doesn't make a difference. You just need to be able to see the metal. And then let's cut. And I'm going to rotate. So I'm hoping you love my dies and you'll actually get to see them when we get to the end, but I also wanted to teach you something. It's important that we try and teach. And of course, you know that Simply Defined is priced very, very economical. We price our product to be as affordable as possible. Okay. Oh, still a little bit wet. So I didn't get a super crisp cut because it's still just a little bit wet. But if I had my heat tool turned on, I have it here to show you, but you don't need to literally watch paint dry. I mean, literally. So let's pop some of these out just so you can get the idea. Oh, that one might be too difficult for me to pop. Here's something rattling, but it's not a big old palette. Gosh, and I would use this too. I would save that and do something out of that as well. I want to pop that piece out. I just don't know if I can get it out without tearing everything because it's still wet. Can we get it? Can we get it? Can we get it? So close, so close, so close. Come on. Yikes. Oh, I think I tore it, but I think that's, yeah, I tore it a little bit, but that's okay. You get the idea. So then if I took it and I put it against black paper. Now somebody would totally think you alcohol linked that completely, but we didn't. And if you have alcohol links, great. Then you know how to do this. You know how to use these. But if you don't have alcohol links and you're not sure that you are ready to delve into that, although it's not hard either. It's very, very simple. Or more importantly, you already own this product. Here is another way to use it besides painting it onto beautiful, beautiful peel-off stickers. Beautiful way to use it, and easy. And just gives you, I mean, you take something that looks like this and then you die cut it and it looks fabulous. But I'm going to take this one and I'm going to foil it. Yes, once they're dry, you can absolutely foil it. So I've got my Go Press and Foil machine over here. And I've got my, one of my foil plates for this release is my little baubles that drop down. I also, because I know not everybody has a Go Press and Foil machine, I did the stamp to go with it so you could stamp it and color it. I did it so that you could stamp it, emboss it. You can stamp it with glue and then glitter it. I also got my deer, which we'll show you, my foil. Now he's not that small. He's actually kind of big. But my deer, and again, for people who don't have the capability of foiling yet, I've got the die and the stamp set of the deer. So, I mean, I've got my big bird. Well, no, Sesame Street has Big Bird, but I've got my foiling bird, and then I've got my die and my stamp, so those who don't have a foil can use this. And tidings of comfort and joy are the sentiment with this one, and peace on earth. And this is let heaven and nature sing. And near and far follow his star, and you get some stars. I mean, it's just, I really love this release. I really, really, really do. But I'm going to foil using my plate, and it's big. It's not a small plate. The image on the front is just a fraction of the size that it actually is. So I've got my Go Press and Foil here. And Go Press and Foil is a heating element. And when you get it, everybody's Go Press and Foil is exactly the same. What's different is the die cutting machine you use to roll it through. Remember, you need to have a die cutting machine that will let you put through steel rule dies like Tim Holtz Alterations dies from Sizzix. If your die cutting machine only likes wafer dies, you can't use a Go Press and Foil with it. Also, when you buy your Go Press and Foil and you plug it in, it's red. You literally have to, although mine's been heating up, you literally have to press that button and it will start to blink. Let's see if I can get it to blink. It will start to blink red until it's ready to go, and then it will turn green. Now, your Go Press and Foil, oh, there it goes, it's blinking red. Thank you very much, just like it was on cue. Your Go Press and Foil and my Go Press and Foil are exactly the same. What is different is your die cutting machine. Have you had your die cutting machine for 20 years and you've used it so often that it's kind of loose and now you find yourself having to shim and shim and shim? Or did you just buy your die cutting machine and everything goes through it perfectly and you don't have to shim anything at all? That's the difference. So when you're playing with a Go Press and Foil machine and it's new, you have to be willing to play for a little bit with no expectation of it doing anything that is fabulous. I mean, it's not going to give you, oh my gosh, fabulous, until you learn what shim you need. For most big shop machines, it's a 100-pound piece of cardstock folded in half, and I just leave it in there. Eventually, because it's cardstock, it will compress every time I put it through my big shop machine. I will need to fold another piece of 100-pound cardstock and do it again. Let's take the gold. The paper is paper. It's going to compress every time you put it through your machine. Now, I have, and this is a heating element, so it's getting hot. It is absolutely getting hot, and you can feel it getting hot. So all the Go Press and Foil machine is a heating element. Can you use your iron? No, you can't use an iron to do this. I am sorry. Save up and get one because this is a fabulous machine. It actually does what it says it's going to do. Now I've got my transfer, my hot foil stamp or die in there. I have got the piece that I'm going to want to foil. I have, ooh, or do I want to foil this one? Or do I want to foil this one? I don't know which one. Oh, I don't know. Okay, we're going to stick with my original. I've got the plate in there facing up. And now I want to take my foil. And I've cut a piece off. And when you buy the Go Press and Foil machine, it comes with 2 rolls of foil. The foil's very inexpensive. An entire roll, 15 feet of foil, is only $2.80. They kept the foil really, really affordable so that you can have, and there's like 90 different colors now. You can have all the foil you want. You don't have to worry about being skimpy with it because it's very inexpensive. And it's 15 feet. It's more than anybody else. So foil. How do I know where to put the foil? Do I put the foil here? Do I put the foil here? How do I know? Well, if this was the card you were making or the frame you were making for your layout, if this was something you were making and you pulled this foil off and wanted to see that gold foil, would you want the gold to be on the front or the kind of blah silver? Because if I pulled this off, I wouldn't see the gold. So if you're looking at your card and this is you, you're holding it and you're looking at your card, you're going to put the pretty facing you because when you pull it off, you want to see the pretty. Now I'm going to open it up and I'm going to put that right down against my die. There we go. And I'm going to let it heat. And it's going to take a second. This may go back to red because now I'm asking it to heat all the way through. And while that's heating all the way through, I am going to start showing you the glossy paper that we have from Couture Creations and my parchment paper that we have. I'm also going to show you some of the storyboards because that's heating. Well, it still says green, but let's give it a few minutes. So today we played with this die, and here it is in my chocolate paper that's sandable, and we were playing with this die. Now, this die also comes with the little dies that will make your mounds for grass or for snow, and it comes with your little deer. Now, they're $13.99 a die, or if you buy the 6 in the I Want It All collection, the whole 6 is $59.99, bringing them down to about $9.99 a die. So there's the first two. Ah, it says it's ready. It says it's green. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to bring it over. And I'm going to send it through my Big Shot machine, and I'm going to send it slowly. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Because you're not die cutting, you're transferring. So you can't just whip it on through, you gotta be a little slow. So find a song that is a little slow. Silent night, holy night. And then let's see what we've got. Now I'm going to immediately put it right back into my unit because I want it to start heating again. Every time you take it off, it starts to cool. Every time you put it back on. And if I were going to be doing multiples of these, I would want this to stay as hot as possible for as long as possible. But if you leave it, if you walk away, it's going to turn off by itself. You've got about 20 minutes of it just sitting dormant, and then it will register that that you've walked away, and it will turn off itself. Now, let's see what we've got. Don't know what we're going to get. Oh, okay. We did good. What do we think? Is that not magical? Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. And if you're doing this for Christmas cards, holy smokes, every one of them is going to be different because you're going to smear differently, but they're all going to look beautiful because you'll use the same coloring. Look at the foil on that. That's what a Go Press and Foil machine does. It's magic. And it's that simple. You just have to be willing to play with it. Love, love, love. And then there is a YouTube on how to take this, the negative, and take the negative and use the negative as well. So you can actually foil a back piece of paper and use your negative as well. Do not throw these away. Find that YouTube. I did that YouTube. And you'll be very happy because it leaves zero waste. Is that gorgeous? I hope you like it. I love this die. Well, it's a foiling plate, but I do love it. And then all you have to do literally is mat it and stick it on a card, put Merry Christmas on the inside, and it looks like you paid oodles and oodles. It looks like the professional foiling. Okay, so I was showing you things. I did want to show you the foiling. Then we have the carolers. So we did the carolers. I showed you the carolers earlier. And how pretty they look on the backgrounds. And here is our lamppost, winter lamppost. So the carolers with the doggy, comes with the doggy, and the winter lamppost comes with the little birdies. So these two are also part of the I Want It All collection. So there's 6 in the I Want It All collection. The last 2 in the I Want It All collection is the ice skaters and my little girl with the deer in the house. You can use this die any time of the year. Absolutely any time of the year. You can use these for spring. You can use any time of the year. This does not have to be winter. I tried to design some of the dies so that you can use them absolutely positively year round. That makes up the I Want It All collection. Then we have my contour die. My contour die, you get one edge, that is the pine cones, and then you get the edge that is the snowman. How cute is he? So that the pine cones, you can flip around and make a gatefold out of my pine cones. And my snowman, I just love my snowman. Look at, he's got a little winter village down at the bottom of him coming up. And these are true A2 size dies. So they cut on the edge of your card beautifully. And this is my contour die. It is not included in the I Want It All. It is $15.99, but you get both. Not one, both. Then we have some of my foiling. So here is my deer. Oh, here's my deer. My rustic deer in foil. Here she used here's the positive, here's the negative. Remember I told you there was a way to do it. Looks great both ways. And then you get the stars and you get the sayings, and if you get the stamp and die set, you get the die that will cut your deer all the way out. So if you just do the foil, you get the deer and the sayings and the stars. If you get the die and stamp set, then you can cut him out and there's a stamp that goes with it. Okay. Oh, then here's the stamp and die set. So the stamp set is a stamp all on its own, and the die set works together. Stamp is all on its own, doesn't necessarily work with the die all in it, but it does all come together. So you get both. So if you have a Go Press and Foil, you can get the foil and the stamp and die so that you have it all. Or if you don't have the foil, I didn't want you to be left out. So I always do a stamp and die set so that you can have it too. Then we have the one I was just playing with, and again, there's the foil of my baubles, and here's the stamp set. So you can have both if you've got a Go Press and Foil, and if not, then at least you've got the stamp set, and you can stamp this with glue and then glitter all over it. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Then we have my bird in the foil, and this one says, tidings of comfort and joy and peace on earth are the sentiments that you get with it. And then we have the stamp and die set. Again, the stamp comes with the die, so you're going to get all of it. But the stamp doesn't necessarily, it doesn't work with the die. They're two separate things, but we packaged them together for you. And you even get the sentiments. And then we have my stamp sentiments. And so for $9.99, I've got all the stamps for this release. And I love, one of them is grace shines more than twinkling lights or sparkling tinsel. Grace is a reflection of God. So I like that one. And the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. So you are and always will be the most beautiful season of my life. So you've got several sentiments on there. And again, it's $9.99, I think, for the stamp set, $9.99. And then we have our must-haves for this release, which are the scallop squares, which will go with the 2017 release of must-haves, which for $29.99 you get about every kind of square you could possibly imagine that will let you do dotty edges or picture frame edges or solids or regular frames. But because I had more room on the die, I also included tags like I did last time. For $29.99 you get so much. It's unbelievable. And if you have the 2017 squares, which are straight edge, all of these will work within themselves. You can mix and match. So if you've got the straight edge, you're going to want the scalloped edge without any question. Okay, then I've got samples from the girls. So let's get through, let's show you some of those. I've got Belinda and her winter wishes. Push some of this out of my way a little bit. Belinda and her winter wishes. And then I've got her doing, she's got the stag on there. This is Belinda. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. And here's her little mixed media piece. God bless her pea picking heart. It's so cute. There's Belinda. That looks like Belinda. Love, love, love. And then we have her card using the contour and the pine cones. She did a great job, didn't she? Belinda does a great job. She's got such a different perspective. Oh, they're now saying open. Okay. So Michelle is telling me, these are Michelle's. Michelle's telling me, look at that, isn't that beautiful with the pine cones? And she did that in flaking, and the flakes from Creative Expressions. Open. Oh, and she's stamped on the inside and embossed. This is Michelle, and that's just lovely. And here's Michelle. Simple. And look at, they're putting open. They're getting so smart. Simple and elegant and beautiful and just white with a little bit of shimmer and glitter, and then open. Aww, love that. Aww. One kind word can warm 3 months of winter. So that's one of the sentiments. That's lovely. And then another from Michelle. See, she used the glitter. She stamped in glitter and glue in the Essentials glue pad and then glittered on top of it. So this is just using the stamp. And here she found a great piece of paper and just used the die. How fabulous is that? She found this piece of paper that was just perfect, and she just used the die and put the die right on top. Easy peasy, mac and cheesy. Oh, okay, then we've got some that we did downstairs that we've been playing with using the color crystal tints. Yes, this was used using the color crystal tints. Left a lot of negative space. Painted it on, I think, is actually what she did. Oh, his little ear went backwards. So this is using all the products we were showing today with my dies. Love him. And he comes with a little doggy. There's a little doggy that sits in front if you want. How pretty is that? Look at just how colorful. And this might be one of my favorites. Love that. All done, just went. Okay, then we have Doris. And here's Doris's version of my ice skaters. Pretty good, huh? It doesn't say open, so I'm not going to open it. And here's Doris's version of my bird. And you will always be the most beautiful season of my life with my bird. And here's Doris's version. Oh, I'm supposed to open this one. This is so clever, you guys. That was very smart of you. We were working with this one today. And then we open. Oh, and she's embossed in the inside, one of my sentiments. And here is her carolers, and I'm supposed to open this one too. That looks great, huh? And open. Joy to the world. And then she did my stag, and she's telling me to open this one too. And you... Oh my gosh, Doris! Okay, that's phenomenal. She made a pop-up shadow card. Look at how amazing that is. Look at how good she makes my dies look. Okay, love the foil stag on the front with a little bit of glitter, but oh my gosh. Okay, fab, fab, fab. That is Doris. Okay, amazing. And then we have a few that were done on the vellum that I showed you earlier. I think this might be one of my favorite ones on the vellum, where I use the Tombow markers. Love, 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 love this one too. Actually, I love that one, next one too. Love, love, love these using Tombow markers on my parchment vellum, which is super heavy. And it's $6.99 for 10 sheets. Really reasonably priced. Isn't that beautiful? This is just on vellum, colored with Tombow markers. And then I have Claire. Oh gosh, I think I'm going on 2 hours, but let's not mention that, shall we? Claire, oh, didn't say open, but she's got my pine cone contour die down below. Oh, so cute, and it says open. Okay, I will open you. So cute. Oh, there you go. Oh, Claire, this is gorgeous. That's beautiful using my bird. That's absolutely beautiful. See, I really don't see these until you see these. So that way it's a surprise for me and for you. Oh, gatefold. Look at this beautiful gatefold using the pine cone contour. So pretty. The girls do a beautiful job. Look at how soft and sweet is that. Okay, last but not least is Elena. So with Elena, I've got, oh, it says open. So she's foiled and open, and then she stamped my sentiment. Ooh, Post-it note stuck. So this is Elena. And here she stamped and used my must-have circles and my must-have squares, and then she used Versamark and she stamped the sentiment over and over and over again to make the background. This is on my sentiment set. Snowflakes are like people. On their own they seem fragile, but look what they can do when they stick together. And she made her own background paper by just using the sentiment over and over again. And here she's foiled my bird and it says open. Okay. Oh, and then she stamped on the inside. So she's foiled. And here she has foiled the stags, and I'm supposed to open this one too. I love these little open tabs, girls. Oh yes, see? I like grace shines more than twinkling lights or sparkling tinsel. Grace is a reflection of God. I love that. Oh. And it pulls up. Ha, I got it. It's an easel card, Elena. It took me a moment, but I caught on. And then she did her whole little shadow. God bless her pea pick and heart. Her mixed media shadow box that incorporates every die out of the set, no doubt. It's beautiful, and this is probably one of her swap meet finds that she just made all over again and made it beautiful. But it's got everything in there. And last but not least, and I don't know how many of you are still around, but last but not least, here's my contour snowman, and Elena made this. But what's most important about this is the poem that's on this. SMS Girl Yvette. She wrote this poem, and she had always wanted to have it published, and so Elena did this beautiful tribute to her. And I'm going to read you what the poem says because it's all about the snowman. And I'm going to do it without crying. So the title of the poem is Lancaster Snowman. They made me here in Lancaster, Oh no, how can it be? As I look around on the ground, there's no snow for as far as I can see. Oh, how can I stay healthy? How can I stay fit and trim when the only snow for miles around is on the mountain rim? Oh no, here comes the sunshine. Uh-oh, here comes the wind. Soon I'll be just a puddle that no one here can mend. And please don't be too blue. I may be coming your way next year to spend a day with you. Yvette Tuck, July 27th, 1944 to May 25th, 2018. So she did a beautiful job for you. She did a beautiful job for Yvette. And there, Yvette, it's as published as we could get it. Okay, see, I'm not going to cry. I'm going to tilt on up. I'm going to tilt on back, and hopefully I don't accidentally turn. Oh, what did I do? I'm still recording, but I don't know what I did. Okay. I don't know how to tilt me on back. I pushed something I shouldn't have pushed. All right, you guys, it's me, Stacey, Scrapbooking Made Simple, where you can find all of this great stuff at scrapbookingmadesimple.com. We miss you, Yvette. Bye. See you next week.